I've just been re-watching my first episode of Random Ramblings of a Madman, and I realised that obviously in the tangent down spiral of trying to communicate so much information at once. Do you know what I mean? I realised that a lot of the information that I tried to convey in that sort of rambling speech was left unfinished. Um, and obviously, my other concern with it would be my intentions to desire was to sort of very much sort of redo that video and obviously express it in a more recipient manner. I recently sort of changed direction in the thought process of my approach to communication, because obviously within the artistry of communication, interpretation is key. I can try and communicate all types of information that I feel is important. However, in reflection of watching myself back and the entangled emotions at the time of that particular recording, the message that I wanted to get out there didn't quite get conveyed in that sort of, shall we say, creative expression of outlet. And I'm sort of fearful that it's going to get misinterpreted. So I'd sort of, I suppose, like to freaking fill in a couple of the blanks. But at the same time, I think people will get the gist. I do apologise, but I'm just trying to sort of associate some freaking receptive differences. Recently, I've made a conscious choice to take a little bit of time off smoking weed. Not because I don't want to smoke weed, because I do like to smoke weed. However, because of the state of purgatory in which we societally live, with regards to the fact that fucking smoking drugs is illegal, there are certain substances which I think are severely damaging. However, there should be an element of freedom of choice in one's own sacrifice of entity in existence. Like, you've just invented some man-made fucking virus, yeah, to kill all these people, right? Because basically you didn't let people fuck up their own lives and make that choice themselves. So you're killing people that don't want to die, because people that want to die, like, living a life of possible fucking, do you know what I mean? Mindfulness setting, freaking escape reality. We're born into this life. We come out of our mother's wombs, out of freaking C-sections these days, and out of freaking petri dishes actually these days. However, basically, we're all born as slaves. It doesn't matter where you are in this world. None of us are born free. We are all bounded by destinies of fates to be fucking told what to do. Right from the get-go. What we don't get told, basically, is our ancestors fucking sold us, basically. Like, when you're born and you send your birth certificate off to the government, your parents are basically selling you to the government, basically. Anyway, I've sort of spiraled into talking loads of fucking bollocks and shit and cunt and wank and tit and arse, haven't I, really? No, do you know what? It's most of these videos obviously very fractured in their elements of expression. But I wanted a true actuality of basically some geezer going through his mental fucking challenges and emotions and thinking like, I can see the difference in all sorts of things, and it is the most therapeutic way to channel your freaking down spiral. Um, if I were to freaking be a like freaking counselor or a psychiatrist or something like that, and someone was suffering with mental health issues, depending on the circumstances, because there would be some that would be exceptions to the cause. But I would advise people to use video diaries as a method to channel their own avenues of counselling themselves. Because what I've learned is by watching yourself back on reflection, you can get an exterior perception, and actually make a different decision yourself or different choice or something. You can see something different in yourself that you can't see by looking in the mirror, by freaking doing something. If you can watch yourself back in a time differential of basically a dimension, do you know what I mean? You're watching yourself in a different space of time to when the actuality of an event happens, so you are consciously dejected and freaking separated from a correlation of an entity to be considered one. You can basically become two different people in perceptions, basically. I wouldn't advise it to everybody because you could potentially cause yourself some sort of mental roadblocks in a sense. Because not everybody's mind is designed to take such freaking drastic routes of freaking journey through life. Most people stay on the freaking A roads. A lot of people choose to jump on the highway. Most people freaking, do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you get stuck, freaking rush, because you're stuck on a highway, you can't ever get off. Those that try to get off crash, burn, bloody other people, and all sorts of things. But yeah, I wanted it to be literally a true life event of this geezer who's had a life of freaking emotional suffering that honestly most people would find unbearable to contain as an energy source within their mind, body, and soul and heart of whatever it is that isn't existent to be a human being. But I have like empathy for the whole world. My brain views the world as Earth because Earth is God, in my view. Not because I believe in God necessarily. I actually got very frustrated with religious nutjobs trying to impose their religious beliefs on me when I was homeless. I actually got that frustrated with these do you know what I mean, kind people trying to actually genuinely trying to help you. But all they did was frustrate me because I didn't believe them. I didn't think it was right. I thought they were wrong in their interpretation of what God is supposed to be. People try and say that freaking it's because this is mate. You try and tell me that God wrote the Bible, Jesus wrote, mate. It had fuck all to do with it. A man wrote it, mate. A fucking man wrote it as fucking a fucking historic event and fucking elements of control. Okay? Because back then, people were dumb. Okay? Fucking the masses were dumb. In this day and age, the masses aren't dumb, but they're kept dumb for some reason. But like I say, freaking the journey has been potentially suffering. But I made a willing sacrifice to basically set my mind to a task. Because what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life, for me, is to make a difference in the world. Not in a sense of any particular singularity of an event. However, I'm quite autistic, and I've lived life. And do you know what? Yeah, the one thing that pisses me off is for some reason, we are tricked into believing that bad things happen and we should just accept it. I'm fed up of accepting it, basically, because it is a lie. We don't have to accept it. However, the entities that would like to control the masses are very clever in their manipulation of mindfulness to separate the masses. And anyone that is classed as an entity in existence that would like to incite any sort of differential to what exists currently are branded as do you know what I mean, evil. Some are very evil, but not all. There is a duality in existence. Within my body harbours an instability of a balance, which has hopefully been stabilised to a surety of a continuing sort of cohabitation in balance. But within inside me, I have a mindset that will venture to both sides of the fence in most situations. I'll see it from both sides, because within all existence there is a duality of existence. When something is created into existence, something else is almost automatically created. Because within existence there is perception of what is existent, and that perception automatically causes a differential of a correlation to the understanding of the intention, desire of the action itself in an event of freaking basically something being created. So the correlating resemblance doesn't always mirror an exact copy. And in certain structural freaking minefields of maneuverings, obviously outcomes can change. But obviously, you can't speak out in this day and age. If you are to say anything untoward, anything that is out of the norm, out of the box, anything that is considered something devious or clarifiably criminal in a sense. There are criminal acts on this earth that are committed that are abominations in existence. And the only reason those abominations in existence exist is because the natural balance of earth was mistakenly orientated into a function that has been neglected as a causable cosmic event that needs to be unfollowed. We as humanistic entities made a mistake in the past that we continually carry on to make. When are we going to stop carrying on, making a mistake born of a lie that we know is a lie? We already know it's a lie because science has proved it to be so. Okay, so why do we not readjust the actual understanding of the entity of existence so that future generations are not born fools to the truth? Okay? I get there is fear within the world that they do not trust us to make that decision as a cooperative entity. However, if this fucking virus shit has taught us nothing, it's that we are prepared to cooperate as a world entity. Okay? Right? I get it, right? We all live on our own little continents. We all live in our own little things, and we're all selfish bastards when it comes to our own countries, yeah? But actually, right, if everybody cooperated, yeah, right, actually, right, there would be enough for everybody, okay? Enough for everybody, okay? And if we lived in cooperating hands, people would willingly sacrifice their lives so that humanity would continue. people would make that willing choice themselves to protect family, to protect friends, to make sure humans go on and survive. Okay? Wow, it's just, you've just rambled on and fucking, mate, this is like, mate, how are we going to keep track of this? What the fucking hell are you talking about, Patrick? Well, like, I'm randomly rambling because it's just, do you know what I mean, what it is. I am very tired still. I'm in the process of quitting smoking, like I said. Primarily because I fucking enjoy singing. I know lots of people don't like to hear me sing because it's potentially, do you know what I mean? Not one of those sounds that you want to be recipient to in your ear holes, mate. It's more like, shut up, Patrick. But I enjoy it. But as the years have gone on, and testament of 3 years homeless on the streets, I mean, oh yeah, let's touch on that subject, Patrick. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, let's touch on that subject for a minute. Why are people homeless? Right? Now, I'm going to relate on a subject, right, that one day you will not believe, right? I mean, I get it because I fucking said some crazy shit, yeah, but I was trying to fucking correlate something, basically. But basically, do you know the first homeless man? Do you know who the first homeless man was, yeah? Does anybody know? Who was the first homeless man in existence? Does anybody know? Not the first necessarily, but let me reiterate. Who was the first to address the issue of homelessness in a sense of things? Does anybody know? Can anybody guess? Basically, does anybody remember the story about Jesus being born? Kept knocking on all the inns. There's no room. 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 Why was there no room? Well, because he couldn't afford it. Not because there weren't empty beds. Not because there weren't houses to be built. Not because he couldn't afford it. And if you can't afford it, you're not allowed to have it. Do you know what I mean? But there were plenty of places that he could have slept if kindness had been shown, if cooperating hands had not dictated that someone else has to suffer so that someone else can have more. But basically, like, well, he had to go and be born in a stable because there wasn't somewhere to live. In a day and age such as today, no one should be homeless, right? I get there are humanistic entities in existence. The consensus of most people don't want in infecting their lives. Okay, well, give them somewhere to go. Do you know what I mean? You can't have the whole damn world, right, and expect people to live outside their comfort zones, okay? If someone wants to destroy their lives, do you know what I mean, subjectively fucking by taking drugs, right, why is it not their choice to make? I mean, you could potentially freaking direct them to an isolated existence of freaking, mate, look, all you heroin addicts, you want to go and do heroin, go and do it together. You're not allowed to do it with us, but you can do it with other heroin addicts, do you know what I mean? If you want to fucking snort cocaine up your nose, do you know what I mean? Well, you can do it, but you have to go somewhere else for it, do you know what I mean? Like, why is there nowhere that you're allowed to indulge all of those supposed forbidden fruits that you fucking actually... Mate, if they weren't forbidden fruits, like, there wouldn't be as much crime in the world. The only reason people get away with committing the crimes surrounding drugs is because they're illegal. If it wasn't illegal, people would be able to report the fact that someone is fucking holding them at ransom to fucking, do you know what I mean, put them in danger. These people that are getting fucking robbed, stabbed, fucking shot, fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, none of it would happen because you would have a power of an entity like the fucking, what's supposed to be there, that would guardianship that, do you know what I mean? But because we are clarified criminals, you're left unprotected. Does that make sense? Like, I get that you say, well, we're not worthy of life because we're fucking scumbag shitheads. Not all of us. Not all of us. Don't get me wrong. I have been an arsehole upon a day. But I also have pure innocence within my heart. As I said, I am an entity with an existence that has a duality within his own existence. I have both good and bad within inside me. I try and keep it in a harmonious balance. And my only correlation of a resemblance would be to that of the Almighty himself, okay? Because even God will sometimes emit the wrath of God, okay? Sometimes it is a necessity to present the wrath, because that is what it is designed for. Perceptionally, it can be very similar to that of the evil for which we try to distill ourselves. Don't quite cut it the same, but the consequences of the cost of the fact that you make it forbidden fruit, make it illegal, has now come up to a point where my stubbornness to refuse to bow down has bitten me in the arse so many times because I refuse to learn a lesson that everyone says I have to learn. Do you know what I mean? There's no point fighting it. Do you know what I mean? That they will always win. Do you know what I mean? That the man will always win because, do you know what I mean? The man is a fool. Get a police officer, for instance, gets paid to do a job that's supposed to be protect and serve. I've had a police officer try to strangle me round my throat and crush my windpipe. Because I refused to get in his police car. And I grabbed hold of his hand, or his thumb, because he grabbed hold of me. So I acted in self-defence. I grabbed his thumb. He decided to try and kill me. A police officer tried to kill me because I bent his thumb. How fucking disgraceful. Now that is true anger. That is not expressional. That is Patrick truly angry with Officer 11612, Police Constable Benjamin Crook. What a name, eh? What a name. A police officer called Crook, eh? And you like strangling people, do ya? Do you know what I mean? And then, to top it all, right, I'm not going to lie to you, yeah, right? I was going to go to court, plead self-defence. Do you think the police let me do that? I walked out of my cell to go to the custody desk to be transported to court. Okay? They were aware of my autistic behaviours, that as soon as they tried to grab me unawares, I flinch. I try to move. They purposefully instigated an event that meant someone grabbed hold of me without any due freaking awareness so that they could bust the shit out of me onto the floor so that when I went into court, I was in no fit state to present myself to anyone. I took it as a basically a warning that if I refused to play ball, I was going to suffer further consequences. I think that is disgraceful behaviour from a police officer because an autistic homeless person tried to explain to him that I am autistic. He called me a 4-year-old in my behaviour because I'm autistic. He took the piss out of me. I'm a police officer. I can do what I want. On a day, I'm going to take this police officer to court. I am going to recall his police camera footage evidence, okay? Because I got sent to jail for assaulting a police officer when that police officer tried to kill me. So I do apologise. Do you know what I mean? But from my understanding of what is, do you know what I mean? Excusable as force necessary, trying to strangle someone is not necessary force. I'm not quite sure that's what you're trained to do. Do you know what I mean? But basically, it took me an awful long time to get that issue sorted. But it is disgraceful. It's one of those things I want to quickly brush over now because the reflectingness of it is actually causing me to become angry. And I don't want to be angry. I've worked too hard to become positive. So generally, Patrick's all cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is all video diary expressions of expression, creativity, emotion is behind it, anger and all. However, like I say, I'm calm, collective, and the anger is only expressed purely for the purposes of showing you the emotions that are truth. I very much have a handle on it now. Were we having a discussion a day after the geezer had fucking tried to kill me, I may be a little bit more wayward with my emotions and my words. I'd be very much freaking pumping myself up to go and freaking sort it out, basically, because I thought it was disgusting. And I, to this day, regret my decision to let them police officers bust me up and change my mind. I should have gone into the court and said, look, can you just go and get the video camera footage from this police station they've just transported me from? Because I believe they've just committed a crime. Who's going to believe it? Do you know what I mean? Who is going to believe it? And then some geezer sends me to jail because he saw it as a kindness. What? What? You're sending me to a jail for a crime I didn't commit, yeah? Because it's snowing. And I've got nowhere to live, and you're not allowed to release me to the streets. So I have to go to jail. Right? You've just been telling me for the last fucking however long they're not criminal offences to go to jail. Like, literally, you screwed me over like a right raw fucking dick, didn't you? Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that you did that. Now, I know that sounds weird because I'm smiling. Like, do you know what I mean? Well, you're happy that you had all that shit happen to you. Well, yeah. Do you know why? Because I learned something. Like I say, sometimes it takes me like to learn the hard way. I like to learn the hard way sometimes because I know it's truth. Someone tells me something, how do I believe it? Because, like, mate, like, I'm a little bit gullible sometimes. Not sometimes, all the time. Which is why I don't like to take people's word for things. Sometimes. But yeah, this sort of recording didn't quite go to plan. I'm going to stop rambling because literally freaking half an hour, mate, of rambling about shit. But no, I'm gonna revisit some of these subjects that have been fragmentally fucking expressed today. And trust me, I've got loads more that I would like to discuss more sort of eccentrically on a day. Especially Mr. Benjamin. I might even stop this recording and start another one straight after it, just to give you a little bit more of a sort of a giggly story to go along with it.